Let's move on because we can hear him. We only have an hour and we have less than an hour now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
If it's okay with everybody, let's just go ahead and continue. I want to welcome everybody here. I wasn't able to attend the June meeting, but I hear that went okay, and John stepped up to the plate, was actually voluntold for something once, and did a good job. So I want to welcome everybody here today, and thank you for everybody being here. Let's go ahead and start with introductions. Steve Jones, City of Oceanside, Assistant Building Official, Chair of SEAC. Oh. No, someone want to continue?
Hi, Jeff Spees here.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, it's Greg Carney. I'm here as well.
Okay, so I'll go through who I have listed here. It's Mark Baldessari, Mark Rodriguez, Pete Jackson, Caroline Tugito, Craig Carney, Jeff Spieth, Peter Liang, and myself.
And it looks like Pete is having the same issues as Steve was having calling in too.
Oh, because I unmuted Pete.
That was that sound?
Yeah, I had to mute Pete because I was getting feedback from him.
Yeah, and if Pete can possibly put a headset on, that would probably fix the issue, but fingers crossed.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go to item number 3, the announcements. I just want to remind everybody we'll have an in-person meeting August 17th in San Diego at the Center of Sustainable Energy. Remind everybody that we sure would like you to show up in person so we can continue with the work of SEAC. I have another announcement, IAI section meeting. There's an IAI section meeting which has some great training opportunities. It goes on from August 28th through the 31st. There is also a one-day training where you could come in just for the day, pay for that event. Again, some really great training opportunities there. It's in San Diego, down in Mission Bay. Does anybody have any other announcements that they'd like to make to the group?
Does anybody have any other announcements to make?
I think that everybody knows about when code proposals are due for the NEC, so I don't think there's need to do that, or that I don't think anybody here is other than myself and probably Kevin Reinertson are going to the ICC annual meeting, so I don't think we need to go on that route either.
Okay. Good. Let's go into some status reports. I'm going to go ahead and jump in for Mustafa's not here today. And so I want to talk a little bit about the storage battery, energy storage system task group work. We've been working and meeting with probably the last 3 meetings that we've had. We discussed a couple issues and we've been beaten to death one issue in particular. But on whole, I believe that this is ready. This checklist is ready to come to the group in August for consensus. I want to remind everybody that we like to adopt this as a consensus process. If there are jurisdictions that don't agree with this, they don't have to adopt it, don't have to enforce it. But for a basis for everybody else, I think that it's a good approach that SEAC has, and we're going to go ahead and go forward with trying to get these through a consensus process in August. Same goes with, we're working with the battery storage battery correction list. They're kind of waiting on us to complete the checklist for plan check to make sure that everything is in concert and that they all line up. So far, everything is going, everything does line up. So we hope to bring that forward real soon too, if not in August, at the August meeting. That's all I have for the storage battery report.
So Steve, isn't that the case though for the entire package, if you will, of storage batteries, whether the plan check, the correction list, the inspection, and the FAQ? Because I know Charles isn't able to make it for to report on his, but I know that he's been simply in a holding pattern, and there's just a couple of minor things to put into the FAQ. So all 3 or 4 documents should be up for discussion and vote at the August meeting.
Yeah, I think that we've, as a group, task group, we've really worked hard on those, and I think that we've beat them up. We've got outside help people. We've worked good with the groups. I think, yeah, John, that they're ready. They're ready to go before the full group.
Yeah, and I saw Bill Brooks and Bezard had commented on the storage battery checklist.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
John, you want to go into the NEC task group work?
Sure. So some of us on the NEC task group met this morning. One of the things that was brought to my attention was that being in the morning is not necessarily a really good time for various AHJs to participate. They do far better with an afternoon. So we're scheduling our next NEC task group work group for the afternoon of August 4th, Friday, August 4th, from 2:30 to 4 o'clock. And Paula will be sending out to those who have signed up on that. And I know a couple of you on the phone here are in that group, such as Mark, Baldessari, Pete Jackson, and Alan Fields. At any rate, we're focusing at the moment, just simply because proposals are due September 7th to the NEC, is that we are reviewing any proposals that SEAC members wish to bring forward to have SEAC consider at our August 17th meeting for SEAC to submit under SEAC's name to the NEC. And some of you might say, well, I've already been involved with development in other forums, and that's wonderful. And what our thinking is, though, is that this is with NEC, there is it's very valuable for the task groups, for the code making panels to receive the same proposal from a couple of different sources, because then they kind of go, oh, well, that means that there's actually more than just this one particular group or one particular individual has this interest. There's actually a lot more people that are interested. And we're talking about that we're not going to, do every single one that everybody has done in other groups, but it's an opportunity to do maybe a half dozen or so of the really big ticket key items that are critical and of value, especially from a SEAC point of view. So I would encourage anybody who has said proposals to bring those up for the discussion at the August 4th meeting. You don't necessarily have to be at the August 4th meeting, but certainly valuable if you're the writer of that proposal to be at the August 4th meeting. And what Paul is showing on the screen is the Google Doc that we've been using to put them. You can see there is an example. There's the example box that actually Mark Baldassari had set up for us as a template, and then what you see right below it is there's a proposal from that was submitted by Pete Jackson, and that we are in agreement. The working group agrees that that we should be supporting this, and so therefore we'll bring this and whatever other items we discuss at the August 4th meeting, we'll bring that to the August 17th full committee for the committee to decide whether they agree with the working group to support and to send in a this particular proposal under SEAC's name as well. And one of the things that I want to also bring up is Pete had put this together and submitted it, and actually in conversation, the quick conversation we had, which was only about, I think it was about 10 minutes that we had on this, is that one of the installers pointed out that there was an additional improvement on this particular proposal, which was added, which was the stain or gray marking, which is consistent. And so there's a value to us doing this. So anyway, that's my pitch for the for people that are wanting to be involved in the NEC process.
Oops, okay. All right, and then and I'm just going to dive into the Charles wasn't able to make today's call, but I'll open up the rapid shutdown task group that he's been working on. And just to let everybody know that we're going to send out a doodle poll for the date range of August the 7th to the 18th, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And we'll be setting up a rapid shutdown task group work call for Charles Pickard's group. Okay.
That's fantastic.
All right.
Good. So it's obvious all the work is going forward. We're still progressing. Everybody's meeting. It's a good thing. I'd like to hear it. Let's go on down to number 5. Let's talk about the status of work regarding SEAC in the future. Again, all the committees are meeting. All the committees are continuing with their work. None of them have been shut down. But we are in this situation where we haven't found any long-term funding, and so we as a group have to determine what we're going to do if SEAC is to survive. You know, there's actually been some funds accruing, not funds, but debt. I'm going to call it debt, simply because Paul has been carrying us since May, and really Paul has been putting out her own money, her own time, keeping us going forward. And so we're close to $500 in debt to Paula, and countless hours, hundreds of hours in debt for what she's done to keep us going. And Paula, I have to be the first one to say, I appreciate everything you're doing. There's a big difference when you're involved.
Yeah.
Things get done, and so I appreciate it more than I could probably express in this phone call.
Thank you.
At the same time, we have been talking about maybe, I'm going to throw this out to the group and say that for short-term funding, we're thinking about now, we'd like to require a $25 fee for those that attend the August meeting. That would be for those that are on the webinar and in person. That to help facilitate the cost for the catering of that event on August. and to help accumulate funds to pay off the debt we have with Paula. One thing I want to say is that going through Paula and using Paula, she's solely our support. So we're not getting anything extra by paying her. There shouldn't be any conflict of interest by doing this. But, you know, she's been paying for all the fees for Zoom that we're using now, the catering fees, the MailChimp fees. And so we've talked before, there were people that said that they might want to or be in a position to help financially with SEAC. I again plead for those people that could donate to SEAC to keep us going to do that. And at this time, I'm going to pledge to Paula that on August 17th, the in-person meeting, I'll bring you a check for $100.
All right. Thank you, Steve.
Yes.
Yeah, shame. Lee Edging at our last meeting in June gave me $30 towards lunch. So it's just, I mean, I know that there's normally about 30 people that attend the in-person meeting. So the catering is normally about $300 or so. So if any of you have some suggestions, or please let me know.
Any comments from the group?
Yeah, if for those of us that aren't, you know, that won't be able to make the meeting in person, or I know I won't for August 17th, but how do we affect a transfer of funds? Just mail it to Paula?
That's a good question we hadn't really worked out yet, Paula.
Well, I have spoken to my tax advisor, and we all understand that SEAC is not a formally registered entity. And he said that, you know, if people wanted to make any donations, it could go to OptiBiz, and I'm happy to be 100% transparent with the group. Like I said to John and Steve the other day, if none of you trust me by now, then I'm definitely not the right person for this job. So, yeah, I'm happy to be transparent with all the costs and the donations that come in.
Do you have like PayPal access to OptiBiz? Does OptiBiz have that?
Yes, I do have a PayPal. I have a PayPal account as well.
Because it's a lot easier for me to actually pay with PayPal than it would be to get our accounting people to cut a check.
Okay.
It's tough.
All right.
Good.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, I can make the payment and then ask for forgiveness later. It's much easier.
Well, right now I feel like I'm a pilot flying a plane, and we're running out of fuel and oxygen. You know, I said to Steve and John earlier. It's I mean, you know, there's a whole task list of things to do for SEAC, and you know, right now we kind of running a lightly run group. You know, we're not even, I don't even have the time to jump into social media and start promoting all of that stuff yet. I mean, next week I'm going to be focusing a lot of my time on pushing for long-term funding. So, you know, it eats very quickly. You know, 100 hours can become 150 hours in no time at all. But that's probably, I looked at this morning, I'm averaging probably about 120 hours a month, just on keeping all the things going. So that's 120 hours of my time that I can't be doing on other stuff and earning. So just to let everybody know.
Yeah, that's an incredible amount of time donating to this cause. I'm sure we all believe it's a great cause, or we wouldn't be here today on the phone. Can I get any feedback from the rest of the group on the short term of charging for attending the meeting?
Yeah, this is Jeff Spees. I'm certainly happy to provide payment. I'll likely have to call in for the next meeting, but I guess, Paula, you mentioned that you were driving towards some more permanent funding sources coming soon. Can you elaborate on that at this stage, or?
Well, I don't know if those funding sources are soon, but I mean, I think I mentioned to the group end of last year when, the County of LA Public Works were looking at shifting SEAC to another vehicle. And Hector and myself had started to speak to other parties, and one of them was a chief advisor at Kevin DeLeon's office, Senator Kevin DeLeon's office. And he mentioned to us that there are agencies that we could go after for funding. And he asked for a problem statement, which I sent to him in May when Steve reached out to me and said that, could I step back in and help the group when the CSE stepped out. And I know that Kip Lipper has been busy, so I'm going to continue, and I do every week. I phone the office, and I know that at some stage we're going to get somebody open their door, and, the CPUC, I believe there are funds to go after there. So that's what we're going to pursue. And, there are other agencies that have kind of said that they're willing to pledge support, but none of them have made any firm commitments at this stage.
So, Steve, John Tacker, in regards to your question about having and what I think is a reasonable small fee for the next meeting, and from then on, is that frankly that's no different than any other group that one goes to of, say, a IAEI meeting or an ICC meeting where there are services provided. So it would seem that a reasonable approach that's already been one that's practiced in a number of other areas.
I would agree that it's a reasonable approach, but we're probably still going to see less participation than we had previously until we get, I guess, rolling and established again.
Mm.
Seems reasonable to me too.
I understand what you're saying, Mark, is that but like I said, in those, I was bringing up groups where there are other than industry there, and it seems to make logical sense that that there are expenses that can't be borne in any other way.
Mm. I had also suggested to Steve and John, a lot of you who are on this call, were part of the original SEAC back when it was SEAC 1.0. I don't know if you recall that we were looking at doing workshops, sort of training workshops and things like that. And most of you will know that I've done seminars before and training workshops before, and that could also be another vehicle to bring in some sort of revenues to help support SEAC too.
Yeah, could be a good generator of revenue. There's a lot of information out there that we can continue to do webinars and training on.
Mm.
I'm not opposed to that at all. It's what a lot of associations do to get money further. Any other comments from the group before we move on?
Any other comments?
Okay.
Right.
So let's move into the next steps and actions. Paul, I'll turn that time over to you.
Okay, so we did say that the group work continues. This month in August, we're going to be starting the rapid shutdown task group again. John's NEC group has a call on August the 4th. And then the battery storage work, especially Mustafa's group, we feel that his document will be able to be brought to the August 17th meeting for consensus. And the other groups did mention that they wanted to mirror some of the work that Mustafa's group had done so that they could finalize their group work too. And then the action items from last month's meeting, there were 12, and all 12 have been attended to. So the only one that I'm just waiting confirmation from is Dave Conover to confirm the new Sandia website link that I'll share out with the group. But other than that, I shared out the ESS safety roadmap to everyone. The invites have been sent out. Doodle polls have been attended to. The draft meeting summary that will go out in August. Meeting summary for this meeting will be released next week and then posted to the website. And yeah, so all the action items from last month's meeting have all been done.
Good. That's fantastic. Okay, let's move into open forum. Feedback from everybody. Don't everybody speak at once.
Yeah, I noticed some have got themselves muted, so.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'd just like to say something. I know some committees are going, and I was on a couple of them, but I seem to have either lost or been deleted from some of the invites because I'm not seeing any of them on my calendar anymore. I think it was when CSE took over. That's the last time I remember seeing, or when CSE left, that was the last time I remember seeing committee invites.
Oh, wow.
So just FYI.
Right.
That's why I haven't been in the last couple of meetings.
So which ones do you want to be on, Mark?
I was on rapid shutdown and storage battery.
Oh, okay. Well, the NEC one, I saw your name on there. So Mark, would you like me to add you to all of the groups?
Are there only 3 right now? Storage batteries, NEC, and rapid shutdown?
Yes.
Then yes. I'm not on any of them now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I would say, Mark, is there was never, ever, ever any intent to take somebody off of any group, and that simply just speak up if on anybody and everybody should speak up as if they want to be receiving, even if they're not able to attend all of the committee meetings and they just want to keep an eye on it, or they want to be involved with it, they should speak up.
Yeah, this is actually my first opportunity. I'm on a bunch of SEA NEC 2020 groups, so I've kind of been involved with that stuff. But I just realized when I saw the SEAC meeting, I started looking back. When you started talking about committees, I looked back and I was like, hey, I haven't seen you for a while. I didn't know we were still meeting.
Because Mark, I've just checked now, the NEC task group invite that went out for this morning's call, you were on that one. The email address I've got of yours is mark.rodriguez@sunrunhome.com.
Yep.
Yeah, you're on that list.
Probably take it off of spam.
Oh, interesting. I'm scratched out for some reason.
Yeah, in the rapid shutdown one, I'll go back to that one and have a look.
So you guys can solve that one offline, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
But I would, I don't think there's any intent. There's not a single intent to exclude anybody from participating in any task group. Not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't think so. It's just, when what was his name from CSE was running the meeting, and he canceled the
Jack.
meeting invites. Jack.
Yeah.
I think all of my invites canceled off of that.
I think also there was people that they kind of like thought, okay, I then remove all these from my calendar and didn't get back onto the other calendar. So I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, very possible. Not
And
blaming anybody.
it was unfortunately it wasn't the greatest communication to start with, when all of a sudden we got a gazillion cancellations, and I think everybody kind of got confused.
Yeah, I think that when that was broadcast out there, it confused me too. And so I think for a couple months there, we suffered because nobody understood where or when the meetings were.
All right. So, Mark, I mean, I'll definitely include you in the NEC invite that goes out for August the 4th, and then the doodle poll for Charles Pickard's Rapid Shutdown Task Group as well.
Sweet. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else like to talk? The floor is yours.
Anybody else got anything to say?
Well, the only thing maybe I'd bring up in this topic is I know Duncan and I had talked at the last SEAC meeting, and we're trying to figure out some ways to address the Interwest document. And we're looking for some support from maybe some of his peers, maybe to try and get Wayne to present his document at some other type of meeting or forum, so that we can at least put it in front of a group and have it discussed. I don't think we've gotten very far. I think we're trying with Mark Chrysler to get into an ICC meeting. I haven't heard anything. Neither Duncan and I have kind of heard any response from that. Is there anyone that has any suggestions or idea or offer any assistance where we could get this kind of meeting or forum put together?
So John Taggart, first of all, with Mark Chrysler, was IAEI, not ICC, because Mark is the president of the current IAEI Southern California chapter, which is where Wayne is located. There is an IAEI Southern California chapter meeting scheduled for the third Wednesday of September out in Rancho Cucamonga. It's a bit further away than where it was yesterday in Downey, which was unfortunately did not pan out of getting seeing if Wayne would be able to come there to discuss. I'm wondering, Steve, is it possible for there to be an invitation for him to come to the August meeting to present and converse on it, or?
You're talking at the August SEAC meeting, yes?
Because I think that there might be some value to that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that frankly, I think that if it's coming from I'd say this, Steve, but it's coming from a code official of an invitation, that might be better than coming from anybody else, because of how it might be tainted or viewed as tainted. The impression I get is that Wayne is kind of, the impression I get of his approach is that he's kind of wary of anything that may come from industry that would be considered suspect.
Sure. Oh, Duncan and I have both received the talk to the hand from Wayne.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you guys see the chat on of Pete? Who is Pete able to be able to talk there?
Let me unmute him again. Hi, Pete.
Hello?
He's still on the echoing.
All right.
Pete, I can hear you. Oh, there's a bit of feedback.
Need to find a 13-year-old kid to fix this problem.
So I can elaborate on what Pete said on the chat there. Pete says, I'm happy to point out the incorrect information in the Interwest document and have been at every STEP training. So those of you who are not aware of the STEP training, that was under a DOE grant that IREC is the administrator to, and ICC, IAI, and several other multi-letter acronym organizations were involved in putting together the training. And the training is actually that Pete has been providing has been regarding solar plan checking. And actually, he just did that this last week. It was very nice for him to do it up here in the Bay Area last week. And it's correct. He brings up the comments from that Interwest document and has been pointing out the certain issues that are in there and why they're not in line with the code. So, but I think that it would certainly be a great thing to invite Wayne to join either through the conference call method or in person for San Diego in August. And I think it would be great if you wouldn't mind, Steve, of inviting him.
I can do that. You and I can discuss that a little bit more offline, but yeah, I can do that. Put it down as an action item.
Awesome.
And I think also is that Mark, I'm more than happy to help talk with Mark Chrysler about whether, how to invite Wayne to be involved in the Southern California chapter of IAI. I'll be at the next Southern California chapter meeting, which is in September, like I said, the third Wednesday. And Rancho Cucamonga might be a little bit of a stretch for Wayne, coming from Huntington Beach area where I believe he's from. So, but I don't know where he actually lives in the area. It's always, it's always those things where somebody their office may be one place, but where they actually live is completely different.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, I think it probably would be nice to hear what he has to say, and then getting him involved a little bit more with IAI and stuff. I think that's good. I'm really glad that Pete has been speaking up on the document during his training. So, and I continue to hear really good things about Pete's training from other people in the West that have heard that training. So kudos to Pete, doing a great job. Okay, anything else that the group needs to talk about?
Pete Jackson said thanks, Steve.
No, thank you. He represents everybody very well. It's great. I've been in his training. He does a great job. It's great. If there's no other comments, I know we're a little early. We still have 10 minutes, but if there's no further comments, I just want to say thank you to everybody for joining in today. Thank you for your participation. I hope that we can move this SEAC forward. I hope we can get some long-term funding, and I would appreciate anybody that's interested in trying to help us secure that to contact me or Paula or John, if you're interested in trying to find ways to keep SEAC moving forward. Again, I want to thank everybody. Appreciate all the work of the task groups. And until we meet again in August, thank you.
All right. Oh, and Duncan sent a chat here. Tesla's roadblocked in about 7 AHJs, plan checked by Interwest on this issue of adding rapid shutdown to legacy PV systems, even when they aren't modified as part of the new installation. Pete, sorry I missed your Bay Area show last week. Sorry, Duncan said his mic isn't working. Sorry about that.
So good. I think, yeah, it's a good thing. We need to help everybody out in this issue. We need to get Wayne and to really talk about this Interwest document. Sorry to hear that jobs are being held up. John, Paula, anything else to add?
No, I'm good.
I've added already my 2 cents. Actually, probably more than 2.
Yeah, John, we've already had 3 calls today.
So, all right, everybody. Thank you again. If you have any questions about anything with SEAC, please give me a call. If you want to be more involved, give me a call, or Paula or John. I want to thank you again. Thanks, everybody. Till we see you again in August.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys.
Paula. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, Steve.